Hi, Jenny. Thank you for joining us on Rise Positive Birth Stories.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. So you are going to be telling us about your first daughter's birth, correct?
Yes.
So just give us a brief over what happened. What was the story?
Basically, I got up to go to the bathroom, and I was 37 weeks on the dot that day. And I laid back down. It was like 5 in the morning. I think I looked at the clock, and I laid back down, and I felt a pop in my belly. And I thought, oh, she kicked me, and now my bladder exploded, and I have to go to the bathroom again. So I went to the bathroom, and as I'm walking, I'm dripping, and I'm thinking, okay, how do I tell if this is like just pee? And I just sat there, and I'm like, should I wake my husband, because he has to go to work, and he's getting like his last minutes of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, no, let me not wake him up. I think maybe I texted my midwife, maybe, and she told me just to lay down and try and go back to sleep and rest. And I was like, okay. So I tried, but then the surges started coming, and I needed to just sit on the toilet. Like, number 2, not pretty labor. I had to just sit on the toilet, and I felt like the liquid was coming out, and I just felt like I needed basically it felt like diarrhea the whole time, like really bad diarrhea. Like,
wow. Okay. There was no breaks, no pauses in the surges?
No. Like, again, this is me inexperienced in anything birth-wise. Yeah. Feeling like I wasn't getting a break at all. And I needed to sit on the toilet the entire time because, yeah, my bowels were just like, when you have a really bad reaction to food, like food poisoning, and your stomach is like clenching on you. And so I tried getting up a few times just to walk around to pace. And then I told my husband, no, you have to get up. Like, this is happening right now. Like, you need to get up. So then I was back and forth from the toilet to my living room. And I think we finally called my midwife and told her that I was in labor, like I'm getting cramps and I'm feeling, but I'm like such a naive little girl, like, yeah, I'm fine. And like not really telling her that I'm losing it right there. And like, if this is just the beginning, like I can't handle this, like, no. So she didn't hear the reality. So she said, go lay down and try to figure out the pattern. And I was like, okay. And I'm like,
there's no pattern. It's constant.
This is just no. And I'm telling my husband, if this is the beginning, I can't handle this. And we're Christian, so he was coming in trying to pray with me, and I'm like, just pray outside, like you just pray for me from over there. And then sometimes I really wanted him with me.
Okay.
And he's like trying to joke around because he's a teacher, and so he's like, I need to call to get a sub. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I like a sub sandwich. I'm like, you're not funny right now. No. Like, don't, please, like, you're funny, but I can't laugh right now.
Okay.
And then I think he was trying to change the music or something. So I called my midwife 30 minutes into this whole ordeal. And then this is 30 minutes later, and I was on the toilet, and all of a sudden I just felt like her head there.
Yep.
And I just had the chance to get up, like I was holding onto the counter and like the shower door, and telling my husband, you need to come here right now, she's coming. Okay. And he's like taking his time, and he's like, no way. Like he told me later, he's like, no way, she's not. And then he comes in and then he looks and he's like, she is. And he just puts his hands in between my thighs and catches Jasmine, our baby. Yeah, our first daughter. So, ejection reflex. That's what it's called. No pushing phase, just the ejection reflex. Just baby comes and you just hold on to something because the baby's coming. There's no breathe to slow it down at all. She just, and water everywhere. And I just remember he passes her to me and I'm looking at her and thinking, and I say to her, I said it in Spanish, like, hola mamita, like, hi baby, I love you. And I said something like, you're here.
Yeah, was
and then,
because it was only an hour long, it sounds like.
1 hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So were you planning on a home birth? Like that?
I was planning on a home birth, but I was planning on a home birth, water birth, but we hadn't had the pool yet. Even if we wanted to, it wouldn't have been enough time to fill it up and warm the water.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were planning a home birth with our midwife in our apartment. So we did have everything we needed on hand, but in the end, all we needed was towels. And that was pretty much it. And it went well. I had a tear, I think, like that didn't even need stitches or anything, but it hurt like a mother. That was the worst part of recovery, was trying to pee and shower without it stinging like crazy. But yeah, other than that, I didn't need stitches or anything, thank God. And no complications, because anything, you think like, oh my goodness, it was just the two of you. And no, it was fun.
Oh, amazing. Thanks for sharing. How did you prepare for your first birth?
My husband was well connected, I don't know, with this midwife. And so right away we knew that's who was going to be my midwife. And so she helped me throughout. I think we went, maybe I was a month and a half already pregnant when we went and had the first meeting with her. And I love her so much. She's amazing. She's called the Miami Midwife. If you want to look her up, Sheila. And she's known as the Miami Midwife. She's amazing. And she helped me throughout the whole thing. And of course, my husband helped me because he loves just to research things. And so he was telling me videos and documentaries to watch just to be comfortable in this decision with having a home birth.
How funny, he was like not convincing, but he was preparing you for like, this is what.
Yeah, he was my doula. He was my doula.
You very nice. Instead of you, it's usually like the mother who decides and then the father comes on board. But in this case, it was reversed.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So he was the one encouraging me, and he's very much into herbal supplements. So he was helping me, making sure I was drinking my prenatals, my herbal prenatals, my raspberry leaf tea, keeping me hydrated and electrolytes up and magnesium and all the things. Like he was very much, my rock with all three of them. So that's how I prepared, and just being led by him and my midwife, and online birth symposiums and like birth summits that other people that were very I guess intent like on having natural births and doing everything they could to prepare for that, and sharing their experience too. And so birthing from within was brought into my life, and now I'm working on trying to become a birthing from within mentor, though I'm taking a little bit of a hiatus right now. But that's how I was introduced into birthing from within, childbirth preparation, and their philosophy. Like I love it, and it helped me with all three of my pregnancies and birth and postpartum. And so I was able to do the 6-week course with them, with in person.
It's
With
like a childbirth education type course.
Yeah, 6 weeks. It's different than childbirth education, but yeah, I guess you can call it that. And yeah, I did once a week. We went. I think I only missed the last one because since she was born at 37 weeks, I wasn't able to attend the last one. But the last one was how to take care of a baby. So I went and I took my baby, but she was like, just come to say hi. Don't try and sit through the whole class. Just to introduce the baby, and we were back home right away. But yeah, I prepared with spinning babies also because my midwife did the spinning babies course with Lee years ago, and so she helped me prepare because my baby was breech from like 32 weeks to 36 weeks, which is for a midwife is a little bit worrisome because they want to make sure that they can be there for your birth, and if the baby is breech, they can't. At least in Florida, where my midwife practices, she isn't able to be there for breech births. So yeah, lots of spinning babies, lots of doing all of the different activities that is recommended to turn a baby and to just have a good birth experience. I also went to chiropractic care every week, maybe like 2 or 3 times a week. So I feel like that really had a big impact on my body being able to do what it needs to do naturally. Yeah. So, and yeah, I did quite a few things. It's all in Birthing with Heart. It's all in there. I have a chapter, I think it's chapter 7, that's called Birth Prep the Hippie Way. Okay. Or Preparing for Birth the Hippie Way. One of those names. I forget what it ended up being called.
I think the first one you said. But I'll just interject here. Birthing with Heart is a book that we just released, actually. So you can now purchase on Amazon. Because there's no context around the book. So Birthing with Heart is a book, in case our viewers would like to. Great. Okay. Was there anything you were apprehensive about?
If I was what?
Apprehensive about.
Apprehensive about a few things, I guess, was Plan B. Mm-hmm. I wasn't preparing. It's such a bad thing to say because as a doula now, I think I would say prepare for Plan B and C. But in that mindset that I was in then, I said there's no Plan B. This is what it's going to be, and that's what's going to happen, and I'm not even going to think about it. So I didn't even prepare a hospital bag. I was very apprehensive about anything to do with Plan B. Thankfully, it worked. All 3 of them worked in my favor, but in the 3rd baby, I did have a hospital bag prepared. Okay. But so in retrospect, and also I started getting apprehensive towards the end about people being in the room with me, because at first I wanted to have a list of people that I wanted to call to be there, friends, close friends, family, like I wanted them to be there with me. But then towards the end, I didn't want anyone there but like maybe my mom and my sister and maybe my brother and my dad, maybe. And then I even asked the midwife if she had to be there and how long she had to be there. And I got very apprehensive about people in my space. Wow, that was like,
you felt that like
it shocked me too, because I very much used to, or still do kind of, but back then even more, love people being in my space and being able to like I don't know, bring love and life, to the space. But towards the end, and I even read a book by what's her name? Laura. I want to say it's Laura Shanley. The Unassisted Birth book. Okay. Very controversial. and how she only had her babies there by herself or with her husband. So maybe that started playing in my head, like that's possible. And I started watching videos of women having free births, just them alone, catching their own baby. And so I think I started praying about that possibility. And then maybe it manifested the way that it did because of that. I don't know. So that was my second apprehension.
What helped you the most, do you think, for the labor itself?
My faith, 100%. Thank God. My faith 100%, because I used to not have any faith. I think 10 years ago now. And so I think that was a peak time in my life where I was having to put my newly found faith into practice. Mm-hmm. And I was very much like how they would say a baby in the faith, of like trusting and giving and surrendering to a higher power, when I used to like be atheist and not any form of power whatsoever. Don't come at me with any of that. I respect people that still believe that way, but it didn't work for me anymore. And my life changed at that point. And so having to surrender to that completely, and in birth and in labor, it was like, first it was scary. And then, after everything settled down and, the dust settled, and wow, this really happened. And it just confirmed my faith even more. And like, I was just on fire for the Most High. So 100% my faith.
Amazing. What surprised you the most about the experience?
1 hour birth? What? That was the most surprising.
Did you have fast births or something? Like, does it run in your family to have these? Nothing.
No, my mom had a C-section. Her first was a cesarean, and then she had 2 VBACs. I was her first VBAC, and then my sister was her second. But her labors were not short. Like, I mean, I guess like average being like what day-long labors. My mom's was on the shorter side of being like 8 or 9 hours. Okay. And my mom wrote her birth story. It's on my blog as well. Okay. So I wrote, she dictated to me and I wrote it for her. But it's up.
And that's on heavenlytreasures.net.
heavenlytreasure.net/blog. You can just put in the search box VBAC, and there's quite a few birth stories on there. So, but you'll see a picture of me and her. So, but I don't have. There's no history on my husband's side. His mother also had 2 cesareans. So there's no. It was a big surprise.
How did you feel afterwards?
Sorry?
How did you feel afterwards?
Elated. Oh my gosh. Elated and love. Oh my goodness. I had never felt at that time that amount of love, that overwhelming, like you want to just cry like a baby kind of love. Like my dad, a few days later, he came to visit me, and I opened the door in tears, like I couldn't breathe, crying. And he looks at my husband like, "What'd you do to her?" And I'm like, "I'm so happy."
Still a couple days later.
A couple days later, like, I think my milk still hadn't come in fully at that point. After that, it went a little bit downhill, like emotion-wise, just because breastfeeding itself is just difficult. But it was the first few days. It was just elated, like in love. Like I was just amazed.
Yeah, it's quite a process. That's Nice. Do you have other advice for mothers?
don't be scared to get different information and different experiences from people, listening to birth stories and what other people did and trying it. Not just saying, well, that worked for you, it's not going to work for me, because I didn't know I was going to have 1 hour births. Mm-hmm. I didn't have any idea that, doing the things I did or putting the things I did into practice were going to help me, reach that. If that's what helped, I don't know. I can't say you're going to do the same things and it's going to be like that. But, well, my sister had a 6-hour labor, so
that's still faster.
So that's still faster. She took the same herbs and did the same things that I did, so maybe it helped her have a faster than average labor. But I can't say like that's exactly what it's gonna do. But try it. Trying, just testing the waters. And if you do want something, don't be scared to go for it. Just go for it. Like try. Like I hear people say like I wish, or like I would want to, but, and then I say, but what? You're the one putting the hesitation, so just go for it, Mm-hmm. Whatever it is that you plan, whatever the birth plan is, it can sway, but you can prepare for best case scenario too, not just worst case scenario.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's an excellent point. Kind of like a shoot for the moon type of idea, and be prepared for the rest.
Yeah, emotionally, physically, just prepare for the best, prepare for the worst, and you never know what your path is for you, so I can't say like, yes, this is going to be it for you, but the worst thing is to have the regret, like that you never like really pushed for what you wanted. I've had many people tell me, like I knew I wanted like at least to have the baby at a birth center, and the husband wasn't supporting, but she didn't even push him a little bit, because she said, okay, whatever he says, but if she would have pushed him a little bit, start exploring, go and see the birth center, talk to somebody, then see if you'll budge a little bit, so that's just my advice.
Much kinder. I would definitely be on the side of like, it's your body, your baby, your birth.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, as a doula, you have to not quite word it quite like that. But if it was like a friend of mine back home that I'm not going to be doulaing for, I'll be much less PC about it and just say, nope, do what you need to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, with some people you can be like that. I guess it just depends on the person's personality and how much of a push they need, because some people do. And with some people I have said, because they'll come to me and be like, for breech advice. And I've done all the things. Oh, okay, so you did the forward feeding inversion? Okay, tell me how you did it. Oh, is that the one where you go on your knees and on the floor? I'm like, yeah, that's the main one for breech. Oh, I haven't figured that one out. Like, oh, okay, so you didn't do everything. Come back to me after you do it 3 times a day, every day for the next week. Okay, her baby flipped. Okay, you see, you didn't do everything. Don't tell me you didn't do everything.
Yeah.
And I'll have to say it like that to them, like just how I just said it to you. Not be nice and be like, well, if you try it, no, do it. Go over there on your couch or high chair and do it now.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess if you're reading the situation, but that's not generally the language we're trying to use, right? Go.
No, at all.
That's funny. Well, great. Thank you so much, Jenny. It was a pleasure to hear your story.
Thank you.
Thank you.